All right, bring them out here. We're out here. We're out here.
We're ready. We're out here.
Jesus.
Yeah, damn crowds. Independent crowds are crazy.
They're crazy. That was recorded live at an independent show.
Nice.
Me and Gregg went to. We put the mic up in the air and said, let's put that on the podcast. Big Talk with Chris and Gregg. That's us. I'm Chris.
I'm Gregg.
I love doing this podcast.
Sure, me too, bro.
I would do it if just me and you were the only people listening to it. Like, so
Mascot.
that's Rambo underneath the table snoring. Hold on, one more time. Listen. I love it.
He's cutting some logs.
He's right under the table recording. We're not going to move him. So you can deal with it, guys.
Deep thoughts with Rambo.
I love it. Talk about, what do they say? Sawing logs?
Yeah, that's his some logs.
I love it, guys. And if you guys, so he's a bulldog. Yes, he snores loud. And when he's in the bedroom and I'm going to sleep, that sound is just like soothing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So deal with it. It's in the background. Hey, his chest is rumbling. The table's rumbling.
Yeah.
We're Royal Rumbling.
Yes.
We got the Royal Rumble coming up this weekend. Me and Gregg said, dude, let's do another wrestling episode. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. And you know what? I love the Royal Rumble. It is a great match. And we said, man, what one should we talk about? What should we talk about? Should we just talk about the Rumble? Should we talk about anything specific? And we both kind of said, you know what? I think if we're going to talk about the best Rumbles, we got to hit the Attitude Era.
Yeah, definitely.
And we really zeroed in on 2001 as widely regarded as the best Royal Rumble of all time, best overall card match of all time. I think it's great. I watched it, in 2001. Loved it. I thought it was great.
Now, do you know what was going on at the time of 2001, the Royal Rumble?
I don't, but before we get into 2001, let's get into 2022. BigTalkCG.podcast on Instagram. That's BigTalkCG.podcast. Comment there. We're also on Twitter at BigTalkCG and BigTalkCG@gmail.com. We're streaming everywhere. We are everywhere. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Listen Notes, Amazon, iHeart, anywhere, all around the world.
We haven't been kicked off yet?
We haven't been kicked off.
Nice.
Pandora hates us. I threw them over the top rope, dude. They've been eliminated, dude. They got eliminated. They came in the ring. They went off the other side over the top rope and eliminated their ass.
But some 3-second type stuff,
Not even, dude.
Yeah.
It was less than a second. I broke the record.
All right.
That's my one Royal Rumble elimination was Pandora. They're done.
They're done.
Royal Rumble. Let's talk about what the Royal Rumble, what the actual Royal Rumble is. So the Royal Rumble is a pay-per-view that gets held by the WWE, used to be WWF, and the Royal Rumble match. Do you want to talk about the Royal Rumble match?
Sure.
Okay, you go. You talk about it.
Well, it's a match where, now I'm asking you, Chris, do they always have this as the prize where the winner was?
I don't think so. Because
okay, so maybe it started in the 90s.
No one in their right mind would ever put the winner of the. I'll go ahead and say who the winner of the first Royal Rumble was. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Can you imagine Hacksaw Jim Duggan wrestling for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 1988?
Heck yeah, man. That would have been fun.
Who held it then? Was that right before? That was right before WrestleMania 4 when they had the tournament.
Yeah.
And Macho Man Savage won it then. I think Hogan might have had it at that time.
Yeah,
he had to
maybe
vacate the title. But anyways, I digress.
Anyways, Royal Rumble, 30-man over the top. Two guys started off. And I think they changed the time, but I think this one was the first 10 minutes. Like they started off wrestling, and then after that, every 2 minutes, another guy would come in or person, and then they would do the Royal Rumble, and the last person standing was the winner, declared the winner.
Yeah, the only way you get eliminated is getting thrown over the top rope, and both feet
have to touch the ground.
Yeah. And I think you already said the winner of the match. I think now, first they had it like you just won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Then they had it because they only had one title. You get to wrestle for the WWF Heavyweight Championship, and now they have all these titles. So I think it's if you win, you get to choose who you. Is that what they get? Like you don't necessarily have to. They got the Universal. They got the Raw. They got the SmackDown. They got the Sunday Night Heat. They got the Thursday Thunder. They got the Monday Nitro. They got the Big Talk with Chris and Greg title. That's the coveted one. No one wants to come after us. No one wants to come after us.
All right.
We have the choice of all those titles.
Don't we have the tag team?
We are the tag team champs.
Yeah.
We're raising my hand. Raise my hand. That was a high five.
That was a high five.
It was
high five.
High five and white and Mexican guy. The Royal Rumble, so yeah, it really kind of sets off. They kind of call it the beginning of the WrestleMania season. It's like the kickoff. It's like okay, like shit's getting real. It's in the wrestling world. Shit's getting real at the Royal Rumble. That's like it because when we decide who's gonna wrestle at WrestleMania for whatever world title they want to wrestle for.
Correct.
I remember the WrestleMania we went to in San Francisco. Seth Rollins who had the it was Reigns and Lesnar. Reigns had won it that year, and he wrestled Lesnar, and Seth Rollins cashed in the Money at the Bank and turned it into a three-way. But I think Reigns had won it that year.
Yes.
And so we got to see that at WrestleMania. We also got to see a Money in the Bank cash in at that one. So you never know what's going to happen. You can never know what you're going to get. But the Rumble definitely is a great way for the company to take it in any direction they want. I mean, really, you have your champion. You can launch a career.
Correct.
From the Rumble. You can launch a career. I mean, the people I'm looking at the list, and we'll talk later about who's won these Rumbles and stuff like that later. But I think right now, let's specifically jump into 2001.
Yes. So at the time of this Royal Rumble 2001, some of the big things that was going on was the sale of WCW. You know, they're getting, and then there was also a lot of talk of the debut of the XFL, which they did mention a few times.
Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, a little Steve Weiser. Cheers.
Cheers. That's not a prelude. What do they call that? That's foreshadowing.
So those are the two things that were going on at the time from around this time around the pay-per-view. All right, so we're going to start off with the first match.
Yeah, 2001, there was a total of, just go with me because I know we talked about this a minute ago. There are actually a total of 6 matches. One of them, the first match, was actually held on Sunday Night Heat, which was their show. They had a weekly show every Sunday, and that was Lowdown versus Kai and Tai. Lowdown was Chaz and D'Lo Brown versus Funaki and Taka Michinoku. It was a tag team match. It went a total of 2 minutes, and Kai and Tai lost that match, obviously.
Was Chaz the guy from the Moshers or something?
It was. Remember, it was Chaz and D'Lo Brown, and they had the turbans, and they came out with Tiger Ali Singh. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who I don't know who should be more offended by that. I mean, and I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but people that traditionally wear the turban, would you be more offended by these two guys wearing it as a gimmick, or would you be more offended as the people being told to wear it as a gimmick? I would be offended if I was like, what are you doing putting turban on these people? This is part of my... Because I believe it's a religious thing.
Yes.
Or
no,
whatever. If I would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't last long. Let's just say that didn't that might have been the only time you ever saw that.
So the match was only 2 minutes?
No. 1 minute and 57 seconds.
Oh, shit, man.
And
a couple of clotheslines and
when I watched the pay-per-view, I didn't see that match. It was on the Sunday Night Heat.
Oh, okay.
The first match that was on the pay-per-view was for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Edge and Christian were the champions. they faced the Dudley boys.
Yeah.
Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley.
Yes.
And it was a 10-minute match. And the Dudleys were the face team in this one.
Okay.
And Edge and Christian were the heels. There wasn't necessarily... This was... this is 2001. And these teams are actually kind of at their heyday. This is when, you had the TLCs going on, I believe. You had a lot of stuff going on. But with this match, there wasn't a lot of fanfare, like, on the entrance. It was like they came in, the Dudleys got a little bit of a pop, but Edge and Christian kind of got, they didn't get crickets, but they almost got like an indifferent. I didn't really hear a lot of boos. I didn't hear a lot of yays.
I thought the Dudleys got a bigger pop on that.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they got the bigger pop. They were definitely the face team. The people,
and a lot of signs,
Get the table signs.
Devon, get the tables.
But this was a good match. Both of them being able, hitting their high
I loved
spots.
it, man.
One of the funniest parts of this match was, the move where the Dudleys, they would hold the legs open and Devon would do the headbutt into the nuts on the other guy, and he'd be like, "What's up?" Well, Edge and Christian tried to do that, and Christian had Bubba Ray down, and Edge climbed the ropes, and Christian went to Edge, "What up?" and Edge went, "What up?" And then they did a fly. Bubba Ray Bubba Ray did a somersault, and he pushed Edge, and he hit Christian, and then it was funny, dude. I laughed.
Good match, man. I totally love the tag team match on that one. Yeah, it had all the fun spots with these guys doing, hits and moves and jiggle jaggle and all this other good stuff. Crowd got into it, signs.
Yeah, they got to get the tables.
If this is one of those matches that they say you got to start the pay-per-view off right, to me it was, because I love these two teams at the time. And, it's like, who do you want more? Who wants the belts? How are they going to keep them? What are they going to do? And Edge and Christian at the time were a machine, and they were good champions. The Dudleys, coming in from the ECW merge, good stuff. They're good rolling at the time. You know what I mean? Good momentum. I loved it.
We've talked about both of these. If you go back to our tag team episode, which is episode number 2, we talk about both of these teams. Edge and Christian definitely were at the top of their game. The Dudley Boys, one of the greatest tag teams. Some people say they're the greatest of all time. They've held more titles than anybody else. But I was reading it when I was kind of just surfing through when we decided to do this. I kind of did Royal Rumble. Oh my God, who was in it? The tag teams. Oh, let me kind of look at the pay-per-view, what happened, blah, 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 in my quick little 15 minutes. Did you know I caught over this blurb? In 2001, which was the year this was held, the Royal Rumble is traditionally held in January. I think it's been held in January every year. There were 17 tag team title changes in 2001. So this was definitely foreshadowing of what happened in that year. That's more than one a month. That's like 1.5 a month almost.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
That's
dude.
crazy.
So that's how stacked the tag team division. But they were still doing stupid shit like The Rock. And I remember they were throwing people, because I remember Christian and Edge won the titles from The Rock and The Undertaker. That's why they had the title. So they were throwing all kinds of combinations and stupid crap together.
Just to get a pop on that Attitude Era, man. On that kind of good stuff. Yeah, that was two teams. Love them.
I love them both, too.
And then the pop from, the Dudleys winning. And once they won it, dude, everybody went wild and crazy. And
oh, yeah, they gave them the 3D.
Yeah.
They got the tables going, put them through some tables. It was great.
It was great.
Dudleys walked out with the titles, and I don't know, is the rest history? They probably lost them like 2 weeks later. I don't know. Or No Way Out, I think, was the next pay-per-view then before WrestleMania No Way Out. Speaking of that whole succession, dude, because that led up to WrestleMania 17, if I am correct, right? 2001, was that WrestleMania 17? We'll talk about who wrestled in the main event because we don't want to give away who won the Royal Rumble. But that little trilogy of pay-per-views was some of the best that they ever produced.
Yeah.
Match number 2 was Benoit and Chris Benoit
Chris
and Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title ladder match. And the build up to this was a long long. It went from, I believe, the WrestleMania from the year before. It wasn't a constant them always at it, but it was like they kept going at it, if you know what I mean. They were always at each other, but they always weren't wrestling each other. And finally, it was Benoit against Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title and ladder match. And my favorite ladder match of all time is WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. I think it's the blueprint. I think Shawn Michaels, in any ladder match he's ever been in, are some of the best. But this is really up there. And the reason I really like it, through this whole match, one ladder.
Yeah, right?
One ladder.
That was it.
We're not pulling ladders out. We're not getting crazy with stacking and making bridges and doing this and that.
Short ladders, medium ladders, half ladders. Yeah, nothing like that, dude.
One ladder, which kind of, when you think about it, shows a lot of things. They really thought out what they wanted to do in this match. But I think even more importantly, it kind of shows what, in the ring, these two wrestlers really were class acts.
Yeah.
They weren't just going willy-nilly, getting crazy, not carrying what they did. They were taking care of each other. It shows by the fact that they were able to use one ladder through the whole match. They weren't just bull rushing each other. I don't give a fuck if I break this. I don't care what happens to them. No, you were controlling each other.
I think this is the third pay-per-view that they were wrestling each other.
Oh, yeah. They had a couple other pay-per-views where they wrestled each other. Yeah. And Benoit definitely, I think he had every pay-per-view they wrestled. He won every time they wrestled in every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And, man, another thing I like about this ladder match is they are not getting up on top of the ladder and jumping out. I think there might be one where Benoit tries to do the flying headbutt off of the top of the ladder. He misses. Jericho puts...
It was actually the turnbuckle.
No, he jumped off the ladder.
Oh, okay.
He tried to do the diving headbutt, and then I think Jericho put Benoit in the walls of Jericho on top of the ladder.
I think he called it the octopus.
Yeah, it was a little cheesy. It was a little cheesy. You can see Benoit hook it in with his arm, but nonetheless, it was great. A couple times where they're trying to climb the ladder for the title, and the other one knocks them off. That happens 3 or 4 times. A little more wrestling than you would normally see in a ladder match once the ladder comes into play. But overall, a great match.
Yeah.
As far as ladder matches are concerned, it's a top 5 for me of all time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely a top 5. Might be higher. I would have to go through and think. We might have to do an episode on ladder matches. I don't know. Both wrestlers were great in the ring. Chris Benoit, a great technical wrestler. He reminds me a lot of Dynamite Kid from the British Bulldogs.
They have that style.
They have that same strong style, but technical, but also were tough.
Yeah.
So you had that, and then you had Jericho that basically can wrestle however he needs to wrestle against whoever he's wrestling in whatever territory or wherever they're wrestling to get the crowd to hate him or love him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If Jericho is wrestling the match, he's going to make it happen. He is one of the greatest of all time, and he showed it again in this match.
So one of my favorite spots in the match is when Benoit was doing the suicide dive, and then Jericho hit him, I want to say with a ladder, or no, a chair. Sorry, it was a chair. Hit him with a chair, and then he's on the floor, and then Jericho sets him up across the barricades and was going to jump over and misses.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
It was a lot of back and forth that match. A lot of back and forth in that match. 2 great wrestlers both at the top of their game.
Yeah.
This was when they were both. Actually, I would say Benoit was probably right close to that top. I think Jericho obviously still had a ways to go, but when he got to that top, these are 2 guys that are your guys for the future, and they really showed it in that pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, dude, that was.
Let's see the ending to that match. We'll talk about the ending.
Yeah.
Benoit, I believe, climbing the ladder to get the title, and Jericho pushes it over. Benoit hits the ropes, falls out of the ring. Jericho sets the ladder up, climbs up, grabs his belt.
Bing, bing, bing. Yeah.
Is it just me? Or whenever one of these guys gets the belt from winning a ladder match, grabs the belt, or ever gets knocked off the ladder, I swear to God, dude, they're going to Jimmy Cornette their knees, dude. Every freaking time I see him land with 1 leg or 2 legs or falling backwards, I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, here comes a knee blowout. And every time they get up fine, dude. That just shows what kind of we've talked about this before in our last wrestling episode when we were talking about world's greatest tag team.
Yeah.
How great of athletes these guys are, man. They're just great, and these guys really were showing the world how great they were.
Yeah.
They're great. Great match. Can't say enough about
can't
it.
say enough about it, man. Great match, great two performers at the time. Jericho kicked ass, Benoit kicked ass. Good stuff. Love it. Moving on from that, the next match on there was China versus Ivory, which was Ivory at the time was doing the let's see.
Right to censor.
Right to censor. So she was with Stevie Richards, with the Good Father, with some other dude. I forgot what his name was.
Bull Buchanan.
Bill Buchanan. They would come out in white shirts and ties.
They had that annoying like
like an alarm sign.
music.
And what they were doing was they were fighting anybody that was overexposed. So all the girls who had their boobies hanging out or close to it, they were trying to censor them.
And Val Venus.
Oh, Val Venus was part of that.
He was like gyrating. His character was I'm air quoting porn star.
Yeah, that's right. And Val Venus there. Yeah, that was a good faction. Shit, man.
How many titles did they hold?
7.
Oh.
Anyways, China was China was fighting Ivory on that one, and then the whole story behind China was she got injured, and then so she was coming back from an injury. I think Ivory and Stevie Richards did like a mock play on Ivory of being in a neck brace, and she talked about I have to come back, and then you see Ivory and Stevie Richards and come back making a comedic form of it, crying and doing stuff. But match was good. I mean, it wrestled on the floor, showed China power. Ivory was good. Ivory was a good wrestler. There was no doubt about that. And she came back and forth. I think the ending was kind of cheesy. It made you think, was it real or not? Where they played it off where China hurt her neck again and had to be
because she
stretchered out.
She had a neck injury, and that aggravated her injury. And then when she got she did that back handspring thing she did, and she tried to do a back body splash into the ropes and hurt her neck. Couldn't move. I think Ivory just rolled over. And
that was kind of it, and kept the championship.
It's a 3.5 minute match.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3 minutes and 27. Let's go back just to show how that was 3:27. The tag team match was 9 minutes and 58. That ladder match, only 2 wrestlers, 18 minutes and 43 seconds.
It was worth it though. That was a good match.
Love it.
All right, so the thing after that was Kurt Angle champion versus Triple H, the Game. Triple H's, I want to say, first shot at a belt.
Can I interject something quick?
Heavyweight belt.
It was going through my mind, and you ever talk about something and you're trying to remember and you can't remember, and then you remember, and then you have to interrupt somebody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just did that. You were talking about Ivory, and I was like, God, Ivory, yeah, she wrestled, but didn't she wrestled in Glow?
I think she did.
Wrestled in Glow, and her name, I believe, was she Tina Ferrari in Glow?
I don't remember her name.
And anybody that remembers wrestling from the 80s, Saturday Night Wrestling, they would show the WWE, WWF, and then the WCW, and then Glow, 3 hours in a row. I don't know if you guys had that here. I had it up there in Washington. I had that on regular antenna TV so I could watch it at my house. I didn't have to go to my grandma's for that.
I was going to say that, didn't they? I think down here, Glow was on what we call Channel 52, like the PBS.
Oh, yeah, the KDOC.
KDOC. Yeah.
Which now has Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, I think, is still on there.
PP8.
Sorry I had to interrupt you. I just was trying to remember who she was because I've been trying to think of it. It just came to me right now.
She wasn't just some new girl that just was starting to wrestle. No, she was an established wrestler. And, like I said, when she came to WWF, okay, they put her at this or Ivory, and then all of a sudden they gave her a new character, and she ran with it, and it worked.
At that time, for her, unfortunately, you had your Trish Stratus, you had your Lita, you had your I think the next year Jazz had came out, and who was there were a couple other girls who were actually, that was a time in the period where it was actually,
wasn't it Sable and
I think Sable was fading out. There was another black wrestler. I can't remember what her name was.
Real tall.
No, short.
Oh,
Short.
oh, Jackie.
Jackie, yeah, dude, she was good too, dude.
Yeah.
She was really good. So you had that core, like 4, 5, 6 women's wrestlers. They were really good. They didn't. It was almost like they kind of separated it sometimes. Like, okay, these are the girls that are actually really wrestlers, and now we're gonna have our
Bra and panty girls.
the Cat and Terry and whoever else we have. You're going to do these mud matches, but we're actually going to have some of these girls do some real matches over here. So we're going to separate these two.
And they didn't do that at the Divas yet. That was still the women's heavyweight.
They had that women's championship match. But come around back to it. Ivory, yeah, she was in she's a lifer. She was in it in Glow, and I'm sure she was in some other stuff as well that I may not know about. But yeah, that whole China storyline. It was unfortunate that the match was so short, because I actually think that those were two very, 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 very capable women's wrestlers, and I will make no bones about it. I don't think women's wrestling is that great. I think it's hard to find women's wrestlers, and I don't think it's because of their ability. I think it has a lot of other things, like I think the size of the ring. I think it looks jank.
You've talked about that before.
I think the ring needs to, for women. I was watching a match today. There was women's wrestling. It was Trish Stratus versus Jazz, and Jackie was a ref. I think it was the Royal Rumble 2002. I had the network on, and Trish got thrown into the ropes, and her head barely comes above the top turnbuckle. That looks like kids wrestling. We need to go like a 3/4 size or 2/3 size height. Shrink it down a little bit, because these women, look like they're running in this huge, huge, huge area that's just.
Have you ever seen?
Like I'm saying, this has nothing to do with their ability.
Yeah.
It's too big, because they aren't as big of a person. So let's shrink it down, not because they're not as good, but we have to make it to scale. We got to shrink it down to scale, and I think that would do a lot. And I don't know if I know that there's a couple federations that are just women, and I don't know if they're doing that, but if they're not, maybe they should think about it.
Maybe we can look into it. I think it's called WOW, and it's out of Las Vegas.
And I'm not saying that they're crappy wrestlers. It's harder to find high quality female wrestlers, because I just don't think that the effort has been put into women's wrestling as much as it's been put into men's wrestling. I don't think the push has been there. Do I think it's coming up? Yes. Do I think we have some of the best women's wrestlers now? Yes, I think we do. I think that Attitude Era obviously was the golden era of it.
Correct.
But we got, another push of women's wrestling that has the ability to be the greatest of all time. But I think that some other things need to be done to push it over the top.
Got it. So you're off your soapbox now, right? You're good.
Hold
on.
I
want to get back to Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Hold on a second. I got
Kurt Angle, Triple H, wrestling.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Triple H came out with Stephanie. I guess at the time the story play is they just got married. They had all that old storyline of that, which was still good, as I liked at the time. And then Trish came out with Kurt Angle, which Stephanie and Trish were having a little feud, because she was flirtation with Vince, maybe flirtation with Hunter. Stephanie didn't like it. She wanted to be the queen bee. Zub, zub, zub. They didn't really need to have the girls there, but they still had the girls there. It was still fun. They came out with them. Kurt and Hunter, man, still both athletes knew how to rock and roll and, kick ass and take names, man. That was another good match of them wrestling and going back and forth and stuff like that. How long was that match?
That was a 25-minute.
Wow.
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Let me see. 24 minutes and 18 seconds.
Wow, that was a long time for that one, man. Still good.
That was a really good match. I mean, come on. Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Yeah. Wrestling.
But it wasn't always them wrestling. I mean, you had them come out. They wrestled. Then Trish tried to get involved.
Yeah.
And Steph had to pull her out. They start going at it. Then Vince McMahon comes down. He gets in the middle of them. So that's like 5 minutes of it. But
exactly. Well, the guys needed maybe a little break at the time.
Maybe they did.
They take a breather for a second.
But, man, dude, Kurt Angle, dude, He is just one of the greatest athletes to ever get in the ring. I still to this day don't think he can get. People talk highly of Triple H, but I don't think he gets enough credit because sometimes I don't give him enough. So maybe it's just me in my own mind, but I definitely don't think Kurt Angle gets enough credit as a professional wrestler as he should.
Yeah, it was great, man.
One of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's damn true. But yeah, the whole storyline with him, it was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. They had the story, and they weren't married yet. It was a storyline still at that point that they weren't actually married.
So they weren't actually married.
They weren't actually married yet.
On
it was
camera,
a storyline.
they were married. Okay.
I don't even know if they were dating at the time. Probably.
They probably were.
Behind Vince's back. Whatever. Remember that Vegas when they got married? Vegas?
Yeah. I was at that show.
Were you?
Yeah. It was a Raw when they did it, and they're like, "Oh, look, I got married yesterday," and then we're like, "What?" And then you see the big screen, and they go this, that, and Stephanie's all, "Eh."
And I remember that Hunter was like, "I do," like right, talking out the corners.
Yeah.
And so you had that, and then Kurt Angle was like, "Oh, you have her? Well, here's my
Trish the Dish,
Trish the
Stratus.
Dish, my business associate," and she came out. And it was Trish.
Yeah.
There you go. And then Vince starts "Oh,
Yeah.
that's back in the time where it was like the storyline was him and his wife Linda were not together anymore or whatever was going on with that storyline. Remember that, dude?
Yeah.
Was she in the wheelchair then?
I think so.
Being like comatose or whatever she was. And so
Yeah.
he was doing his big ball walk down to the "You're fired" to everybody, dude. That was a great time.
Just because of that, when it was actually after the Dudley match, they brought back Drew Carey, and they started doing a little backstage thing, and I forgot who it was, and they go, oh, one of your biggest fans is here. Yeah, you got to talk to Trish Stratus. And then he was like, oh, okay, I'll go talk to her. And then all of a sudden now he's in the match. Vince puts him in the match, and then the guys from Heat, like the D'Lo Brown and
the worst segment of that whole pay-per-view is anything that has to do with Drew Carey. And yes, we're talking about Drew Carey from the Drew Carey Show. From Whose Line Is It Anyways? Horrible. He even tries to tell a couple jokes, and they're horrible.
Yeah, I guess
horrible.
He was doing like a pay-per-view on Saturday night or the following Saturday.
Yeah, some like improv pay-per-view.
He wanted to get viewers or information from Vince how to do a successful pay-per-view.
I've never liked that guy.
Drew Carey?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why? Because he's from Cleveland.
Over here in Burbank, there was I think it's a Smart and Final now, but it used to be an Albertsons over there on Hollywood Way and whatever.
Verdugo.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was in line, two people behind him, and he was a dick to the cashier. And I was like, wow.
Was he?
I am never a fan of yours ever again. I don't care what you ever do in the rest of your life. He was a dick. Wow. And I don't remember specifically, but I do remember the feeling I got from it. Like you can remember the feeling, but not the specifics.
Yes.
And I was like, nah, don't care for him no more. Yeah. I'm not even going to apologize about it.
Okay. Another thing they were doing on the commentary in between matches was this is when WWE had their New York restaurant.
Yes.
And they would talk to people.
Didn't everybody want to go there?
I did.
Okay, who's going? Let's plan a trip to New York. Who's going to New York?
We can go in there, watch the Royal Rumble, we can have a steak, we have some beers, blah, 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 blah.
And you watch it now and you're like, this has to be the biggest collection of white trash I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, when you go back and watch it now, it's like, oh my God, dude, I'm glad I didn't go. I'd be lumped in with these jabronis.
So check this out. So I didn't go to the WWF one. I went to WCW in Vegas.
I've been there.
Yeah, and it was like a Nitro restaurant or something.
It was a Nitro restaurant. Was it in the Excalibur?
I think it was in the Excalibur. And
I've been there.
I remember going there. And
I went there in like 2002 or 3.
Okay, well, I was old enough
because it was when I first moved down here to California.
Oh, okay.
So I moved down here in 2002 from Washington. So it was that was in September 2002. So it was probably 2003 or early 2002.
So I probably want to say I probably did that in either 99 or 2000, like right before my daughter was born. So, okay. Anyways.
Wait, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I went on a vacation there. I'm sorry. I didn't go there from here. I went on a vacation there when I was still living in Washington. I'm sorry. Same time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because there would be no WCW bar and grill in 2002. Because there was no WCW.
Okay, thanks, man. WCW.
I could hear the
Anyways.
nation yelling at me like, "Hey, idiot!"
Who can remember that far, man? Drinking the beer. Anyways, the section. So I always wanted to go to that restaurant. I never made it. Damn people. All right, so let's get into the Royal Rumble.
So, like we said before, the Royal Rumble match: 30 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Hold on. This is for entry number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, entry number 1, Gregg. Entrant number 2 is Chris.
Okay, so you still didn't tell me where this is taking place.
This is taking place in I didn't even know this was even called a place, the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I love it. I
New
love
Orleans.
it.
Yeah,
Hurricanes.
I
I love it pre-advertising, like the
Oh, okay, yeah, because it wasn't the AT&T Thunderdome from Louisiana, New Orleans.
the Crypto.com arena.
It wasn't one of these. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't one of those.
Sometimes they got cool names,
Not anymore.
but like I remember
The Harry Potter Theater Amphitheater.
they had the play. God, what was it? Was one of the stadiums up in Seattle was CenturyLink,
Okay.
and they called it the Clink. like a prison.
Yeah.
I think it might have been the first sponsor of the Seahawks stadium. Might have been
Okay.
CenturyLink, and they called it the Clink. Like, you come there, you're in trouble.
No.
You're in trouble. I'm gonna shiv your ass.
No.
You know about shivs. The New Orleans Arena. Don't know what it is now. Don't know where it is now. So basically, just to reiterate what happens in this match, it's 30 men. They bring out the first 2 every 2 minutes.
All right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I gotta cut you off because we didn't finish talking about Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Oh yeah,
On my
we
notes.
didn't, dude.
I'm
Did
sorry.
we?
No, we're so excited. So, how the match ended was Stone Cold came out and interfered. He hit Triple H.
Yeah, because Triple H. So
interfered.
So before that, Triple H Stone Cold was wrestling against Kurt Angle. Triple H came and cost him the match.
Yes.
So at this
cost him the
pay-per-view,
title match. Yeah, Hunter. He did the same to Hunter on stuff like that. So that's it. I had to throw that in there because it is a prelude to the Rumble.
Yeah. So Triple H was gonna beat Kurt Angle. Stone Cold came in, gave him the stunner. Angle rolled over, pinned him, cost him the match because Triple H cost Stone Cold the title match against Kurt Angle. So that was kind of where that storyline was at that point. And that comes in later as well. So then it goes into the Rumble. Couple things to talk about. We know that Rikishi was going to come in at number 30 because he had won a match to come in at number 30.
Got it.
We knew that Drew Carey was going to be in the Rumble. We didn't know when he was going to come in. We knew Stone Cold was going to be in. We knew The Rock was going to be there. We knew The Undertaker. We knew Kane.
Now, all these guys were on the poster. They weren't actually. I mean, unless we were watching Raw and SmackDown on that kind of stuff. Because when I saw the pay-per-view, I forgot everything about it, and I just started to watch it. And then I was like, oh, shit, that guy. Oh, yeah, that guy. Oh, I forgot he was still wrestling at the time. So for me, it was all a surprise again, but I still loved it. So starting off the match number 1.
Number 1 was Jeff Hardy. And like we said before, number 2 was Bull Buchanan, from Right to Censor.
Right to Censor.
So they went at it.
Yeah.
I got a list here because I can vaguely remember, but I can't remember everything specifics.
Okay.
So I have a chart here that says when they came in, who they were, who they eliminated, how much time they spent, how many people did that. So I got a chart here. So I don't want everybody to think that I'm like super smart, like savant.
Yeah, we don't want to think you're super smart. Drink another beer.
I say the stupidest shit sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually got this thing, dude. I'm so proud of myself. I got this thing scrolled on my computer just right where I can fit all the info on my computer screen without having to scroll up and down. But I'll probably end up scrolling up and down and fucking it up. Jeff Hardy,
All right,
Bill
Bill
Buchanan
Buchanan.
came in the first two. So they go at it for a couple minutes. Like we said, every 2 minutes, another entry comes in.
Another entry comes
Who's
in.
number 3?
Matt Hardy.
So now we got the Hardy Boys in the ring.
So I just want to say, make sure that the Hardy Boys were in their classic outfits. You know, baggy or long black baggy pants.
Baggy pants.
The classic Hardy Boys. Wait a minute. Classic Hardy Boys was when they came out originally. They kind of looked like the Young Bucks. And then they kind of moved over to this other look where they were both wearing kind of like I think Matt had a red shirt and Jeff had like a bluish shirt. And they both had like black
in
pants.
this match, in this one, they were all black.
Yeah.
They're both all black.
Okay. And they kind of wrestled, and that's what kind of happened. So they was it Jeff that threw him out, or was it Matt that threw Buell out?
Well, what happened? So what happened? It actually says here they both eliminated him together.
Okay, they both.
But my favorite part of this match was when they eliminated him, and then they both looked at each other, took their shirts off, and like gave like a slap high five kind of thing, like let's go, and they started wrestling each other.
Yeah.
Real brothers. I mean, you get these fake brothers in wrestling, but these are actually real brothers, and they start actually wrestling.
I'm sure their mom was very upset.
And
Why
then-
couldn't you just leave him?
And then the alarm goes off for like the next person to
Yeah.
come in, and they just stopped. And
Yeah.
they go, okay, who's coming in? We're
coming?
done wrestling each other. And then it was Farouk at number 4
Yeah, from the APA.
from the APA. He came in. Yeah, he made it a good old 58 seconds. Matt and Jeff eliminated him. And then guess who was next?
Drew Carey.
Carey. And he eliminated himself. He just jumped over the ring. And I'm going to tell you what. This,
Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. This chart is so like jambalaya. So actually, Matt Hardy eliminated his brother.
Okay.
Matt Hardy eliminated Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down this
But wait a minute. So
chart.
didn't Drew Carey came in at the time, right? Because
You know what?
it was Drew.
Here's what happened, dude. Now I remember. They were wrestling. Farouk came in. They both eliminated him, and then they both went over with Farouk when Drew Carey was coming out. And so Drew Carey kind of came out, was watching what was going on. All three of them went over to the ring. They all eliminated each other, and he just stood in the ring. And then the next person that came out was
Kane.
and Drew Carey just said, "Fuck that," and just jumped over the top
Jumped
rope
over the top
onto the
rope.
ground. So then now Kane's just sitting in there by himself, like, okay, who's next?
All right. So
One of your favorite guys.
yeah. So one of the funny thing that the King was saying was, look at Kane. He looks like one of these big old pork chops. And I thought I was cracking up on that one. I was like, wow, how was King saying stupid stuff like that?
You know what? What do you think about that combination? Those commentators, Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross.
Shit, that was on point, man. Those guys were kicking ass, man. I mean, knowledgeable, fun. Like they, what was it? The King kept on saying, "Oh, Rikishi's my favorite. Rikishi's gonna win. Rikishi's," but then he would flip flop and, "Oh, so The Rock's gonna win. Triple H is gonna win. Somebody else is gonna win. This." They would be flip flopping and stuff like that.
It was almost like Jim Ross. You would look at it like Jim Ross. Whoever's talking and telling the story that I'm telling right now, you're Jim Ross.
Yeah.
I'm Jim Ross. You're Jim Ross, and your buddy is Jerry the King, flip flopping all over the place, dude. So everybody could have kind of related. Oh God, dude, this guy reminds me of Jibbity Jobbity.
So after Drew Carey took himself out, Kane was there. Who was next up? The hardcore champion, Raven.
He had that rave. That was horrible.
That was cool. Raven came in, hit Kane a few times, and then decided to go under the bottom rope and started pulling out stuff for hardcore. Then he started pulling a couple of trash cans, a couple of canes, a couple
Trash
of this.
cans full of trash.
Yeah, trash cans full of trash. So they start going at it, hitting Kane and doing some things. Who's next up? Al Snow.
Head.
Yeah. And these guys run to the ring. They weren't like just walking. I'm going to walk down to the ring, kick some ass. No. We're running.
Al Snow, I think, actually came in before his time. He came in like 30 seconds after Raven did, and just he ran down there. He's like, I'm not waiting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. He did.
He
And
just
then all of a
ran
sudden,
down. He's
beep,
like,
beep,
I'm
beep,
next
beep.
guy.
Boom.
Boom.
Next
in
guy.
there. Yeah.
You know what's funny too is I think Raven pulled out a bowling ball and started to throw the bowling ball at Al Snow.
No, it was flip it. It was Al Snow took it out.
Okay. Al Snow took it out and hit Raven.
Rolled at Raven's balls.
And then That was funny.
Talk about picking up the 7-10 split.
All right, bowling ball. Then I think the next was Steve Blackman.
No, you skipped one.
Who?
Perry Saturn. Here we go, guys.
Okay.
The
All right,
written.
all right.
It was Perry
It was
Saturn.
Perry Saturn.
Yeah. It was Perry Saturn and then Steve Blackman.
Okay. So all these guys are kind of
Doesn't matter.
all these guys are kind of mid carders.
These
right?
are the
mid
I
carders.
would low mid.
No, I want to say mid card. Anyways, so they're doing all these guys come in, and then what happens on this? Kane takes all these guys out one by one, starts taking, Raven out, start taking Al Snow out, Perry Saturn, and then the next comes out the Steve Blackman, and who comes out next? Grand Master Sexy. He comes running to the ring, and gets eliminated by Kane. But still, man, it was still kind of fun hitting in there, doing his fucking moves and grooves and shit like that, man. That was good stuff, man.
What was that tag team? Too Cool.
Too Cool.
They were great.
Yeah. So after Kane cleaned the house and cleaned all these 4 or 5 guys out, who comes out next? That's right.
Let me guess. Honky Tonk Man.
He's a honky tonk man.
Oh my God. Never do that again.
Honky tonk. Anyways, Honky Tonk comes out, shooshes Kane, and then decides to do his little, his theme music. And what does Kane do? Hits him over the head with the guitar, takes him out.
You gotta love it. The Honky Tonk Man.
The greatest IC champ.
He held that for over a year.
Yeah, better than Macho, better than Steamboat.
How good of a wrestler was Honky Tonk Man?
Okay, now that's another subject, but
Remember when he got beat by Ultimate Warrior? Was that at
Oh,
SummerSlam?
yeah, I think
in
it was.
33 seconds.
Yeah, something like that, dude.
He was like, "I'll take on anybody." Okay, go ahead.
So so after that, Honky Tonk Man gets knocked out. Who comes in? Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? The Rock comes running out to Kane, doing that, having the fun. Doom, doom, doom. So it's Rock and Kane. And then the next one after that one, dude?
Godfather.
The Good Father. Who's the Godfather? This is the Good Father.
That's right.
From the Right to Censor.
Right to Censor.
Man, get your guys right. We didn't say Papa Chango, or anything good like that.
Yeah, Papa Chongo.
Let's see. Oh, and this is the worst one. This is my favorite. One of my favorite guys, and he got knocked out fast. Taz comes out.
Well, the Godfather and Taz made it a total combined time of 23 seconds.
Jesus.
We're not talking about ECW Taz. It was basically Taz came running in and someone threw him into the announcer's chair where he will spend the rest of his career.
Yeah, Taz did not
And
last. I think Kane took him out.
I don't
dude.
know if there was something hidden. I don't even remember him like any injury. It's like all of a sudden he was wrestling and then he wasn't, and then he was announcing and he was done. It was kind of like when Macho was in Monday Night Raw. I was like, why is Macho Man being an announcer? Dude, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Maybe they
What's
didn't have a
going on?
storyline for him, dude. Maybe these guys were injured. You never know. Do you know for sure, for a fact?
That's what
No,
I said.
you don't.
I said,
No. All right, next one. Bradshaw, APA comes out. Starts clotheslining from hell people. That's what you do.
you know what, dude? You know what's funny? Bradshaw lasted 17 minutes.
All right.
Farouk lasted
5?
Let's see. Farouk lasted 58 seconds.
Oh shit,
Wow.
that was it. And, they had a moment like what we kind of do with beards. And
Wasn't
shit.
Farouk the first black world heavyweight champion ever when he was in WCW?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, WCW.
Ron Simmons, dude. Dude, Ron Simmons was badass, dude. That whole Farouk gimmick, remember when he came to WWF and he was wearing the whole... Who did he come out with? He had a manager. Who was his manager?
Was it Slick?
No, it was a woman.
Oh.
Was it Sunny? It was Sunny. Yes, it was.
All
It
right,
was Sunny came out with him. That was a horrible gimmick. I mean, he kept the Farouk name. I don't know why. Ron Simmons is his real name. underutilized, should have been heavyweight champion multiple times.
Yeah.
He got misused. Was the gimmick entertaining? Yes. Did it really push him to where he could have been? No. And it's kind of a disappointment. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. It's all right.
Soapbox.
Next one that comes out is Albert. Albert comes out, man, and he's a big guy, man. These aren't so you still have Kane, you have The Rock, you have Bradshaw, you have of course Albert now, up there hitting each other and doing some things, man. Those guys.
We got some meat in there. We got some meat.
Yeah, there's no potatoes. It's all meat, man. And stuff like that. So they have a good time, wrestling and stuff like that. I think the next one, Hardcore Holly comes out.
Yes. Hardcore Holly.
Hardcore Holly comes out. And, same thing.
Hardcore Holly and Albert put in some time.
Yeah.
They're putting in some time, 15 minutes apiece.
They both have a good physique to last, like, with the heavyweights. Like, they weren't skinny guys. Like, I don't want to say Jericho or Benoit, Raven or those kind of, like, that body style. But he had some meat on him.
They were, these guys, I mean, dude, let's get something straight. I mean, I don't want to, all wrestlers are athletes, all of them.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get to the WWE if you aren't an athlete, no matter how big or small you are. But there are just some people, I've said it before, that are heads and shoulders. And you start seeing some of these guys, and they may not be the best wrestler, they may not be the best talker, they may not have the it factor, but they are an athlete, and that's what you're talking about. These guys can hold their own, and like, hey, I need you to go 15 minutes in there. Okay, right. We'll do it.
Yeah. All right. So the next one that comes out is definitely one of my favorites, longtime wrestler, R-Truth.
Or at that time, wasn't he K-Quick?
R-Truth sounds good. I don't know. K-Quick. Shit. And the Rumble. This was his first
Was
Rumble.
he K-Quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So next one after that, R-Truth in there hanging out. William Regal comes out, which was
somebody.
At the time he was world champion.
You skipped somebody. Val Venus came out.
Val Venus?
Val Venus came out.
And at this time, Kane was doing 30 minutes.
Kane, I don't even want to tell you how long Kane was in there. I will later.
Yeah, I'll later. But yeah, at this time,
been in there at this point 30 minutes. But Val Venus was next. And Val Venus was in there for
Val
about
Venus.
10 minutes. Val Venus, yeah.
Did come and go, right? Did he last a few minutes?
10.
That's not too bad. 10 minutes
No,
is still good.
for a lower mid card. I mean, when you're in a group like the Red Descents, you're not hitting mid card status. You're coming out there talking, and you might wrestle somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy money.
So William Regal comes out next. He's a European champion.
I like William Regal. I've always liked him.
Yeah, he was
I've
good.
always liked him.
He was good.
He's good. He's a good guy. He's a
good technical wrestler, man.
He's one of those guys that you don't hear a lot about. Okay, so you hear a lot about guys that are important to the industry, and William Regal is one of those guys that when he passes away, everybody's gonna fucking freak out and be like, "Oh my God, he taught me everything I know. He taught me how." You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that's so important to the business and where it is today.
I'm not gonna freak out.
No, I mean like the wrestlers and the people that are in the industry. You know what I mean? William Regal's great, dude. William Regal is great.
Yes.
Wrestling wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for him.
Correct.
Not because of what he does on TV, it's what he does behind the scenes. Love William Regal. He's great. Love
All
him.
right.
Love.
Next one that comes in.
And Steven Regal, his twin.
Ooh. Test.
It's the same guy.
Big Test comes in.
Are you talking about Test, Motley Crue's bodyguard?
Yes. Motley Crue's bodyguard, Test.
Love it.
Comes in. He was still mad that he didn't get to marry Stephanie.
I thought Test was a good wrestler, dude. I don't know what happened with that.
Maybe he took it too personal.
I thought he was one of those, I mean, God rest his soul. I thought he was going to be one of those guys that was going to make it all the way to the top.
Yeah. The next one after that came in, started cleaning house. The Big Show.
The Big Show this is when he was still kind of like in shape before he got like, so yeah.
I never really considered him not in shape.
No, there was a point in time where he was big and just not with it.
Yeah, okay. So Big Show came in, cleaned house, knocked a few guys out.
He knocked a few guys out. It only lasted a minute and 23 seconds.
Yeah.
The Rock clotheslined him out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. I think next up was Crash Holly.
Yep.
Came in, tried to do something. He also was.
He was in there a couple of minutes.
In between matches, he came out.
Do you remember when he went to the APA?
Yeah. Don't. Hey, we're friends. Don't get my way. Don't think I gotta eliminate you. He was like,
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
all right. So who comes rolling in? Rolling.
The American Badass.
Yeah, Undertaker. I love it.
I was never a huge Undertaker fan until he did the American Badass.
Really?
I love him as the American Badass. As far as like the Undertaker, I was like, this is fucking cheesy. I was never a fan.
Well,
But when he was the badass,
80s WWF.
when he came out, rolling. I was like, I'm in, 100%.
All right.
And when he cut us out, I was like, let's go, dude. The American Badass is badass. Go.
All right, came rolling on a bike. All right. I think at this time, Undertaker cleaned house, took a lot of guys out. And then Kane and Undertaker did a little stare down. And at this time, Kane is doing like 40 minutes in the ring.
Yeah, dude. Kane has been there long. So Kane came in at number 6, and we're all the way up right now, about to announce who was number 27.
Yeah. So I think also at this time, who was it? Was it Show? Somebody took a rock underneath the ropes, and I think it was Show, and threw him on the announcer's table. Mm-hmm. So the Rock is out.
Yeah, the Rock's out.
The Rock's out, but he's not out of the Rumble yet. And then who comes in big next? Scotty 2 Hotty.
Scotty 2 Hotty. I love
Dancing.
Too Cool.
Now, Scotty 2 Hotty's walking in, and he sees Kane and Undertaker, and he's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do some dance moves. Maybe I'll do the worm, or how am I going to weasel my way out of this?
I need to wait for the next person to come in.
That was killer.
47 seconds later, he's gone.
He's gone. Who comes in next? Glass shattering. Stone Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin at number 27.
Drinking some beers. Getting wild and crazy. The crowd went wild.
The crowd gets wild. He makes it maybe halfway to the ring. And who jumps him from behind? Triple H. Who obviously Stone Cold cost him the match earlier against Kurt Angle. And he said, I'll vow to get you back. And he bloodied him. He beat the shit out of Stone Cold. And they finally had to have a bunch of people come out from the back and peel Triple H off of Stone Cold. So Stone Cold came out at 27. I don't even think he got into the ring until Rikishi got in the ring at number 30.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just roll over the next two. Billy Gunn.
Wait, but before you go to Billy Gunn, didn't Hunter bloody Stone Cold? So Stone Cold was bloody.
I just said that.
You said the word bloody?
I said he beat it out and bloodied him. Yeah, I said he bloodied him.
You're forgiven.
Beat the shit out of him, bloodied him. Then the next three people that come in are Billy Gunn, Haku, sorry, not a poem,
okay.
Haku, and then Rikishi.
Now, do you know what happened? Why Haku was so exciting about this?
I don't remember why.
Okay, because he just left WCW.
Oh, okay.
And he was the hardcore champion of WCW at the time. He probably just either lost the belt or dropped the belt. Showed up on the Royal Rumble. Like a surprise.
I love it. They didn't have a lot of surprises back in those. Now it's all surprises.
Yeah, right.
So he showed up, Rikishi. So now what do we got left in there? We got Kane. We got The Undertaker. We got Stone Cold bleeding all over himself. Billy Gunn, Haku, and Rikishi. Yeah. So basically those 6 are left in there. The Rock finally gets back in the ring, eliminates Rikishi. Stone Cold finally makes himself into the ring. He's a bloody mess. He's just not pulling any wrestling moves. He's just punching and stomping, and stopping, stunning and punching and stopping. Haku, boom, you're gone. Billy Gunn. So it's Billy Gunn, Stone Cold, Kane, and The Undertaker are the last 4 left. So if I remember correctly, Undertaker. I may have missed something because I don't remember the Undertaker getting eliminated by any of those people I just said.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rikishi eliminated the Undertaker first. I skipped over that part before I said the final 4. The Undertaker got eliminated by Rikishi, which is a stunner. But you got to have stunners in there. You can't have just what you think is going to happen the whole time happen. Rikishi eliminated the Undertaker, so that left the final 4 of Rikishi, Billy Gunn, Stone Cold, and Kane.
Yeah. And then I think The Rock took out Rikishi because he was going to do a stink face, and then he just pushed the Rock or
Yeah.
pushed Rikishi out.
Yep.
And then there was 3. Billy Gunn did his best, and I think Kane took him out.
Yep.
And then so we have
The Rock
the Rock,
and
Kane,
Stone Cold.
Rock, Stone Cold,
and
Kane.
Kane.
So I think Stone Cold takes out the Rock,
Yep. Of course he does.
and then tries to.
They
do
have
Kane.
their whole thing. Like, tell me, does anybody sell the Stunner better than The Rock?
No.
Does anybody sell the Stunner worse than Vince McMahon?
Yes.
Who?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold gives himself a Stunner.
No, you're right. And then
I'll be talking about 2 different things. If you're giving yourself a Stunner,
wait, stunning Steve Austin. No. So I know it. So it came down to Stone Cold, Kane. Kane gets eliminated. Stone Cold wins the damn
Stone
effing
Cold wins the whole
show.
thing. Beers go flying. He's
Bloodied, man.
bloodied. He's drinking beers.
Crowd goes wild.
So he goes on. So Angle was the champion. At the next pay-per-view, The Rock actually beat Angle at No Way Out. A great pay-per-view also. And so it goes on to WrestleMania 17, 2001, which, as well as this Rumble, is widely regarded as the best WrestleMania of all time. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. We will not tell you who wins that match. You will have to go watch it yourself. But man, that Rumble was great. It was exciting. All the matches that took place were great. I don't know. I don't know if we can't say anything else that we haven't already said already.
No. Great Rumble. Loved it. It brought back so many memories. Attitude Era.
That was a great time to watch wrestling. That was a great time.
Dude. They had a great time, man. Good stuff, man. Just having a good time about it and stuff like that. Good Royal Rumble. Like I was saying, we know Royal Rumble's coming up, so we wanted to throw out an edition out of a Big Talk with Christian Gregg at Royal Rumble. If you guys get to see the new one, enjoy it. So for Christian Gregg, see ya.